A game, a game for you played by young Christoph Duda against Magnus. So this is the semi-finals of the World Cup 2021, and young Christoph Duda is playing the black pieces. Magnus Carlsen is playing the white pieces. Magnus starts off with e4. Duda plays c5, knight f3, d6, bishop b5, and bishop d7. And this is a Rosilimo, and you see the more common line is knight d7 if black wants to play for like equality, and it's a more fighting move. Knight d7 considered to be a more fighting move. But okay, bishop d7. Here white has a couple of moves he took. Also a4 is an idea right here. After which you play knight c6 and etc. So takes and queen takes, keeping the c6 square open for the knight on b8. Castles, knight f6, queen e2. Is trying to probably get this d4 move in and support with the rook, and also defend this pawn on e4. So knight c6, now just c3, stopping some knight b4 ideas also. And now e6 and d4 takes, d5, e5, knight e4, placing the knight on the outpost. Knight g2 challenging the knight on the outpost. So now just takes, bishop takes, bishop b4, trying to trade off this bishop. So bishop f4, he rejects the trade. Now castles, queen d3, bishop e7, a3. It's all very drawish now. Rook c1 and g3 is more I don't understand that much. The h3 is more natural. Okay, g3, nothing that too bad. Knight a5, the idea is to come to c4, so b3 stopping the idea. Queen c6, bishop d2, rotating to d2 and attacking the knight on a5. Queen b6, now rook b1, defending. A6, king up, king to g2, knight c6, rook e1, rook e1, queen b5, trying to trade off queens, and Magnus rejects. This is probably one of the first positional mistakes. Here just taking would have been fine, and we have a drawish kind of a endgame with one, and now it's very drawish. There is not much over here to play for either side. However, rejecting this and allowing his queen to be more aggressive and white's queen to be more passive is a positional mistake here, and the Duda capitalizes on this by trying to take control over the c file and the initiative. So after rook c7, Magnus plays h4, getting some space on the king side. Rook ac8, rook a2. This is an ugly move to make. His rook is in the corner doing nothing really. I think his idea was just to find a way to develop this rook without moving the queen, and bring it to probably the c file to challenge the rook. After this, a5 was played, and then rook h1 was played, a4, and then after that b4 was played. So here rook b2 would have been probably a better move. After that takes, and queen a7, rook c1, and then takes. That was a quite equalish position. Okay, after rook c1, you have to find this idea of bishop f8, bishop e7 is also not good, because the queen would, after rook a2, queen c4, let's say rook c3, queen b4. Now the queen does not have the e7 square to g2, so we just play queen d3 here, and the position is quite difficult because rook b3 kind of ideas are happening, followed by some rook c2 ideas, and the queen is looking like it's getting just pushed around, and white can just improve his pieces, the position of his pieces. Um, yeah, but this wasn't. Rook b2 was a good idea, but Magnus plays b4, which is again now the bishop's bad, and the c4 square is again vacant for pieces like the knight or the queen to come after, and also after the queen moves to c4 and I can jump to b5, and black just has way more active pieces than white in this position. Yeah, so h6 was played, bishop e3, knight e7 with the same idea of trying to go knight b5 to queen c4. So bishop b2, queen e2, coming into the into white's position, rook e1, queen c4, coming back because it was attacked by the rook, and now after rook a3, knight b5, finally developing the knight. The knight's now putting pressure on the d4 square, the a3 square, and just eyeing down also the c3 square, tying the bishop to this diagonal, basically this diagonal. Okay, rook d3 was played. Magnus is just trying to make waiting moves to see what Duda has in mind. He plays rook c6. The idea is probably to bring the bishop to d8 and b6 and put more pressure on the d4 square. Rook b2, bishop d8 as we see in the game, and then bishop d6. Putting more pressure on the d4 square. Bishop e3 was played, and now knight c3, bouncing in with the knight attacking the queen. Queen f1, and then queen b5 was played. Then rook c1, rook c2, putting pressure on the knight. Knight e4, and now takes, and rook here. So this is a critical position. Here Duda decides to play rook c4. The better move probably would have been just to take, and after something like rook takes, you just, oh I'm sorry, not rook c2, rook c3 instead would be good. Basically just attacking the a3 pawn, and yeah, after something rook a1, we can get the knight to join the party, and yeah, this is not looking too good for something even rook here. Yeah, we can try some king h7, and yeah, try to just slowly improve, or even king f8 could be an idea to bring the king over to the queen side. Black just is more dominating. Black is just attacking, and white has to hold this position. So this was a possibility, but he decides to go for rook c4, trying to keep the pieces on board, and then Magnus plays knight e2, okay, trying to exchange the strong knight, takes, and now queen c6, Duda just taking control over the c file. Now queen e2, rook c3, rook a2, and now this is actually one decisive mistake, since it allows moves like queen c4, forcing to trade the queens. Yeah, now bishop b8 was played. G5 takes. Magnus is just trying to gain more space on the queen side, the king side, probably hoping for hopefully he could play something like queen h5 and have some kind of attack, but it just doesn't seem realistic here. Queen c4 was played, forcing the trade of queens. If the queens isn't traded, and if queen d2 was played instead, then moves like rook d3 can make sense. Also, or just bishop b6 after then g6 would be forced, and if rook over here is played, even rook d3 going after this. Queen b2, then you have then you even have rook takes here, and after rook takes, bishop takes, and you win the rook on the corner. The king is more exposed, and if something rook c1 is played to counterattack the queen, just rook g4 would be pushing, followed by queen e4, and now you would just take, and this can't be taken because rook here and the queen hangs. This skewer. Okay, so back to the game. Queen c4 was played and now takes. Dula could have taken with the rook, but he decided to take with the pawn, which is also fine. Taking with the rook, the only advantage of this move is that if black were to play a move like this, now there's two pieces attacking the d4 square, and if rook d2 were ever played, now you have rook c3 attacking the pawn over here, and now again you just lose the pawn, and the d4 pawn just falls. So this move is no more possible after pawn takes. That's the only disadvantage of this move. However, you do create a passed pawn for yourself after pawn takes on c4. And then d5 was played. This is a critical mistake by Magnus. Magnus should have played g6 instead, after which you would take, and now you can play king f3 and try to centralize the king and have create some initiative with d5, for example, and try to go after black's pawns with the king. So that was his best try. However, he goes d5 and tries to activate his rook. However, now rook d3 was played, which is kind of a mistake, critical mistake by Duda. Here he should have definitely taken and now played rook d3. This is very informative, since if you if you trade, this pawn is very powerful and it's a pass pawn and it can queen. Therefore, if you play rook c5, then you have moves like even c3, and now you have this pass pawn, you have this pass pawn. So this is a much better position than just allowing rook d3, and now this pass pawn is going nowhere, and Magnus plays f4, which is a good move. He can try to come and get this pawn soon. And after king f8 was played, king f3 and king e7. This was a mistake. f6 was recommended by the engines, and takes, and e6 and f5. There's some hope here. If he takes here, then after bishop takes, it's quite difficult because these pawns are in dark squares and they could be possibly under attack. So e6, f5, and black has a better position here. However, after king g7, bishop c5, and Magnus now has a very George kind of position because of the structure that white has here. He can just collect this pawn soon and hold on to his weaknesses over here, like the f4 square. He can hold on to it, and it'll be very difficult for black to make any progress. So after for example, king f5, he can just take, and if he were there to touch the f4 pawn here, g6 can be played, and now this forces e pawn passer, and now e7 is threatened. So after g5, e7 takes. Now this should be drawish for white, if not better, slightly better. Now king d4, and you can try to collect the other pawns. Yeah, should be good. Or actually, maybe here. Yeah, this is definitely better because we have some king c4 and these kind of ideas. So and now you just have bishop c5. It's very difficult. Black would have to do too much and doesn't have too much time for I'm sorry, instead of taking, maybe go for this pawn. That would be better, because then you would have to it would be more difficult for you to move. Then you have to move again to b8 and then push. That would be more difficult. It's more accurate to probably take, because if you play here, queen takes, and then you'd have it'll be more difficult. Like you would have to move here and create a pass pawn by pushing these, and by the time black would be able to queen. However, after king b6, that wouldn't be the case since the b pawn would just run. After something like queens, takes, and now takes. Now you don't need to rely on the a pawn, and this is going to be winning for. So after g4, b5, here, after something king h or king f2, let's say, so 12 void check over there, king queen, and f queen, you play queen b6, and this is going to lose, and you can take this pawn, and the black king's too far away to prevent this. Okay, so that's a winning endgame for white if the f4 pawn's touched. But okay, g6 is played, then bishop e3 to defend, and all of this is fine except b5. I think bishop c5 still is great because now we have a similar tactic to what we saw in the Fedosiev game against the Iranian chess prodigy. Bishop d6 kind of idea, and now you're forced to kind of take. No, you're forced to. Then you would forced to give up this bishop, because if you take, then this pawn runs, and if you just keep your king over here and you move your bishop somewhere, then you allow this e6 check in there, and now you lose the game because after takes, and now you have queening the next move. So I think bishop c5 would have been a better move, but after b5, this creates this pawn becomes weaker now. Now, still this is manageable for white. After bishop c1, and after here, bishop b2, bishop d8, king c5, bishop a5, and bishop c1 is a mistake here. Probably bishop d4 would have been better, since after bishop c1 you allow bishop c3. So over here, the only thing I think Magnus was afraid of is something like bishop d2 or something, but then you would just go for the b7 pawn, and that it would hold, the position would hold. But allowing bishop c3 was a mistake, because now you can push d4. Black could push d4, and now it's difficult to hold on to all your pawns. Bishop c3 is a nice, e3 is a nice move, trying to liquidate the position. However, bishop b2 was played, and now the a3 pawn falls, and now you have a black has a pass pawn, and here he finds a way to get to the king side. Collecting these pawns are important, and now king d5, king e4, activating his king, and now just simply playing bishop here and collecting the b6 pawn, which is white's best pawn here. And after king b4, Dula just plays bishop f2, a very instructive move. Then going for bishop g3, and then you collect the pawns. Here many beginners might think, okay, we can exchange bishops, and then I would come and take. However, this is completely losing, because if this is played, then we just exchange the bishops, and now f5, a very instructive move. We see this in the end game for how if the white pawn, if there was a black pawn over here and another black pawn over here, g6 is instructive. It's a very good move, because after you take, you can either play e6 or g6, and then you'd create a pass pawn. Same concept here. So you give up a pawn to create a pass, give up two pawns to create one pass pawn. So here f5 gives up basically the g. So he's giving up the f5 pawn. So after it takes, you can play g6. Now, or you can, instead of playing g6, even e6. Either move wins. So, and after black would be forced to take. If he doesn't take, the g7 pawn just pushes to victory. So, and now you have this pass pawn, and this is too fast, and black just completely loses. So bishop e3 is a big blunder. However, bishop f2 was played, and now Magnus Carlsen resigned after bishop f2. A possible continuation could have been like this, and now just bishop c3, and this is after f5, king takes f5. It's just game over. This pawn falls, everything falls. King b6. Okay, just take here after takes, and yeah, this is just winning for black. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.